Hello everyone, welcome back to my video. Um, I haven't done a video in probably more than 2 weeks, and the reason is because I was so busy and I did not really have like time. I did not have the energy that I need to do videos like this. And yeah, it's not really even like I was so busy that I could not really even write some days and finally focus on writing and posting again. So, what has happened in these 2 weeks? Well, I would say that, there was some stuff that happened that kind of changed a little bit in my life. First is, I've just written every single thing down so I don't forget. There was an event that happened there was an event that took place in my school, and yeah, so it was like me and some other authors who have written books, and we were just supposed to kind of talk about our books. Just like normal stuff, and just like kind of reading a little bit from our book and talking a lot, talking a bit about it, and answering the questions asked by the interviewer. And it was some kind of like a very small event, but it did make me nervous at first. I was the day before the event, I was kind of being very nervous, and maybe it was because of the fact that I have not really spoken to a group of people about my book ever really. Like I do videos and all that, but it's just I just speak in front of a camera, and it was like there were like 50 people there and like listening to what I was saying, and I was nervous. And yeah, I did not really try to hide the fact that I was nervous. I was like stuttering, and um yeah, but it was really fun. I am really glad that I did do the event, because I could even like choose if I wanted to do it or not, but I just chose to do it. And it, I would say that it did help me with my kind of, it did help me with like talking about my book more often, or just about writing. And I would say that it helped me kind of talk to a group of people, and present stuff. So I don't regret it, and I don't really want to change anything. I think it was, you know, very normal that I was nervous, and I did not really hide the fact that I was nervous. So, um, it just kind of went on, and I think everybody understood that I was nervous, and they really, I would say they did not really care, because who would care? I mean, they understood it. That is what I was saying. And yeah, so it was like a very small event, but it also kind of changed my perspective on writing. During the time while I was kind of answering the questions, it was like they asked me some questions, and I had to kind of think a lot deeper than I usually would answer. And they asked me about my writing routine, and um, how I write, and do I take time with my writing, or do I plan things ahead, or research first, have a research phase, and and those stuff. But I think most of it I have already talked about, I've done videos about, and most of it I could really answer well, but there were some questions that kind of made me think again, because the other writers, they also had different opinions and different kind of answers. And they said that, some of them said, okay, I write only when I want to write, and I don't really want to take writing as, I would not really see myself as a writer in like years, because I don't want it to become something that I don't want to do, if that makes any sense. Like, I want to enjoy it, and that's why I want to keep it as a hobby and not really see it as a career. I would not really agree with that, because why would you choose something? I mean, that's my opinion, but I don't really know. Why would you choose a career of something that you don't really like? Why can't you choose something that is something that you like? I mean, if you like writing, then why would you choose it as a career? I kind of sort of understand it, but also not. Like as a normal human being, I would really understand it, but as a writer, I would not really get it. So there are some kind of stuff that made me rethink my um, writing mindset, But at the end, I would say that it was really cool because my family was sitting in the crowd and I was like looking at them all the time. Um, yeah, but there are also kind of moments where your cheeks are kind of hurting because you're smiling too much. And that was kind of happening because my sisters were sitting in front of me in the first row, in the front row. But I would not really, I mean, it was really chill, it was really cool. And would I do it ever again? Of course, I mean, you know, I know that I would do it, but I don't know when. And they asked me about my new book, and I was very excited to tell them that I'm writing on it. And they also asked me what my writing routine is like, and I said that I write 600 words every single day, but I sometimes don't hit it, sometimes do hit it, and it's just some kind of like, I think the more important thing for me is to write every single day and to be connected to the story, learn about the story more. And I think that is kind of something that I've learned while writing over the past few years or even just few months, and yeah, so that was about the event. Other things that happened, I was very busy because of all the exams and all of the presentation, all of the kind of school things that, take place when you're in high school. And I just did not really have any kind of energy to come back from school and still write sometimes or just, make videos. I did post every single day on Instagram and TikTok, but they were also kind of, I would say, fake videos because I was like editing the clips of all of my talking videos into one little like short video, like 10 seconds or something. And then I used to have a hook and a caption, but I would not really, you know, talk just like I do here. So yeah, I mean, I was very exhausted, and that made me lose my energy to come here and write. So I used to tell myself I will write on the days where I only have like 6 hours of school and not really have any exams or presentations, which did not really happen because I would say I did have like 9 hours of school in the past 3 days, and afterwards I used to have like drama classes and presentations and all those stuff, and that really makes you exhausted because I could not really even spend time with my family, and that makes me guilty. And even like taking care of yourself, basic stuff, which is like just eating well, those kind of stuff were even missing because of the fact that I was busy. I do know that it's not that deep and that there will be moments in my life where you know it will be a lot harder. I think sometimes when you're having too much of like stuff going on in your life, it kind of looks a lot, but when you like zoom out and look at the bigger picture, you know that it's not that deep. And that also happened to me. I used to kind of sometimes when I was like too much under pressure, I was just zooming out and like looking at the bigger picture and seeing it's not that deep. And I try to do it often, and I will try to do it more often because it does make you very humble. It does make you be grateful. So I'm very grateful for that, but it's just, you're kind of exhausted mentally and physically more. So yeah, I'm just trying to recover from that. But now I'm kind of free. I don't really have any presentations or any kind of other stuff or exams. So I'm like kind of cool with that. But I do really want to concentrate on my writing in the past and in the in the future, like in the upcoming days, because it is very, very. I'm so fine in my like my mind is filled with so many ideas and thoughts about my book and my story. So I'm very excited to write it down and kind of continue with writing my book and just like spending time with my family, chilling, taking care of myself. That is, what I really want right now. And there's not really any pressure, but I would say that when you're having too much to do, you do feel kind of grateful to have that normal routine of yours back. And that is what is happening to me. So I'm very grateful that I have, my normal days back. So it's kind of weird, but I've been, I normally watch a lot of movies, but, just like I said, I was very busy and that was the reason why I couldn't even watch movies. And I'm very excited to watch movies again. So I will watch, there's a kind of list that I have made of like movies that I've already watched and movies that I have to watch. And there's a lot of David Lynch movies, a lot of, mystery movies. But I would love to watch movies that I've already watched. But I do love rewatching movies. So, mm, go look at this. It's too good. I tried to kind of do like the way I had said it in my previous videos, mind maps to kind of get to know the story a little bit more. I forgot, seriously, and I forgot about it, to be honest, and I did not really have, you know, I would just say I was so lazy and after school, so I did not really do it. Yeah. There was still, moments in, the past days or weeks that kind of remind me of my story, where I was just sitting, not even sitting, I mean, where I was just, doing random tasks or casual days, but some stuff, some activity or just like thoughts that made me kind of remember my story. And, that is, why I have like a kind of a folder in my phone, like on notes, where I just have recordings, and there's like a lot of them, like too much. And I was just like, whenever I had ideas, I used to go on recordings and just like record whatever idea I had, so I would not really forget about it, because it has happened to me so many times that I have great ideas, but then I forget about it because I don't write them down or record it. And yeah, so I'm just so lazy to type it down on my phone, so I just record it, and you can do it like differently as well, but it's just great to capture your ideas. To be honest, after 2 weeks of not really, doing a video or being in front of the camera, I was kind of nervous to come back today and just, do a video. I just came back from school, so I'm like sitting here and doing this video, but usually I just overthink a lot. I don't really, I really go into like a deep thought of like, okay, what should be the video about? What should I talk about? All that before I come here and sit down and do videos. But today I just thought, okay, it's not that deep, and I will just talk about what has happened in these 2 weeks. So yeah, I mean, I don't really, usually I post on YouTube every single week, like one video, and on Instagram and TikTok I post every single day. So yeah, last week I didn't post a video on YouTube, and this week I will. I don't really know if I should do 2 videos and post it for the last week and this week. Hmm. It's okay. I mean, I will just post for this week. Not overthinking much, just posting. Hmm. I did find some videos on social media, just like scrolling, that some people think that, writing books, as like a reader's perspective, writing books is something like roses and, I don't know, flowers and all that, but as a as like a writer's perspective is just like a big kind of abandoned desert, because and I do think it's kind of relatable, because it's just, I mean, for some people it might be different, but for someone who writes every single day, it is kind of hard to come back to it every single day and write. So yeah. And I also have this kind of, I noticed that I do have this kind of perfectionist mindset of just writing every single day. But sometimes I've noticed that it doesn't really work every single time, or every single day, at least. Because, I mean, we are humans, we do get sick, we do get tired, we do have things to do, and instead of just like, it is cool to come back to writing every single day, but it's not really cool to blame yourself if you haven't written that day. You know, I did used to have this feeling of, if you don't write, you're gonna regret it, and you're gonna be very, I think it's kind of like has something to do with your like childhood, I don't know, trauma, just like talking back to yourself or about yourself. But it's just, instead of just like blaming yourself, you have to go back and just like look forward and just like write, and don't really blame yourself for something that you cannot control, which is like sickness or tiredness, those kind of stuff. And, in those cases, I would say that you have to wait and see when you have the energy and the time to write, because writing will never disappear, you can always write. And, I mean, your health is very important, so you have to do take it seriously. Other than that, I don't really have anything else to say. I mean, I'm very happy that I did this video, and it was just a very chilling video, so I'm glad. So thank you for watching.